Hi, my lovers. Mabel Rose Thompson here. Another day, another story. I love you all. I am 103 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that's going to make every physical therapist and geriatric specialist in America want to write me a strongly worded letter. I have never fallen, not once. Not a stumble, not a trip, not a wobble that sent me grabbing for a wall. 103 years old, and I walk to my garden every morning without a cane, without one of those little grabber rails they want to bolt to every surface in your house. Now, before you tell me I'm lucky, let me stop you right there. Luck has nothing to do with it. Dr. Harrison told me in 1991 I needed to start being careful. Said women my age were at high risk. Gave me a pamphlet about fall prevention. Little cartoon drawings of grab bars and non-slip mats. You know where Dr. Harrison is now? He's not carefuling anywhere. He fell off his own porch at 74, and that was the beginning of the end. I'm still here, still walking to my mailbox, unassisted. Before I continue, please subscribe so we can continue writing our history and the beautiful stories of Mabel. I also want to remind you that this is my only official channel, Real Talk with Time. So please check the channel before watching any video. Thank you. I love you all. Let's continue our story today. Here's what nobody is telling you. The reason seniors fall isn't age. Age is just the number. The reason seniors fall is that they stop using their bodies 30 years before the fall happened. Let me explain what I mean. When I was raising my children in the 1950s, I didn't sit. I cooked standing up. I hung laundry. I carried groceries up 3 flights. I knelt in the garden. I got back up from the garden. Every single day, my body was doing what a body is supposed to do, moving, balancing, bearing weight, recovering. Then somewhere along the way, we built a world that removed all of that. Riding mowers instead of push mowers. Drive-thrus instead of walking to the market. Elevators, remote controls, automatic everything. We thought we were making life better. We were quietly dismantling the machinery. By the time most people reach their 70s, they haven't gotten down on the floor and gotten back up in a decade. They haven't carried anything heavy in years. They haven't walked on uneven ground on purpose. Their ankles don't know what to do with a slight incline. Their legs have forgotten what balance even feels like. And then one day they step off a curb wrong and that's it. And everyone says, well, she was 78, these things happen. No, it didn't happen because she was 78. It happened because she sat in a chair for 15 years. I want to tell you about my neighbor Harold. Good man, retired postal worker. When he retired at 65, he was fit as a fiddle, strong, walked his route for 35 years. But retirement meant sitting. Golf cart instead of walking the course. Recliner in front of the television. Wife bringing him things so he didn't have to get up. By 72, he needed a cane. By 75, he'd had 2 falls. By 78, he was in one of those facilities with the locked doors and the nurses with the soft shoes. He didn't lose his body because he got old. He lost it because he stopped using it, and then it went away. And once it goes, getting it back is the fight of your life. I visited Harold a few months before he died. He grabbed my hand and said, Mabel, I thought I was rewarding myself. I thought I'd earned the rest. And I held that man's hand, and I didn't say what I was thinking because it was too late for it to help him. But I'm saying it to you now, while you can still do something about it. Here's what I do. Every single morning, no exceptions. I get down on the floor, I get back up. That's it. That's the whole exercise. Down and up. Some mornings it takes me a minute. Some mornings my knees talk to me the whole way down. But I do it. Because the day I can't get off the floor is the day my independence ends, and I am not ready to hand that over. I carry things, not heavy weights from a gym. I'm not trying to compete with anyone. I carry my own groceries. I carry my own laundry basket. I refuse the cart at the store and carry my items in my arms like a human being instead of loading them into a wheeled bucket. I walk on grass. I walk on uneven ground. I step over things instead of around them. I make my body solve small problems every single day because that's how you keep the body's problem-solving ability alive. And I do not hold the railing every single time I take the stairs. Sometimes I hold it, but not always. Because your legs need to learn to trust themselves, and they only learn that by being trusted. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mabel, that's fine for you, but I already have trouble with my balance. I already feel unsteady. And I want to be gentle with you here, because I understand. But I also want to be honest with you, the way I'd want someone to be honest with me. That unsteadiness you feel, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from years of not challenging your balance. Every time you held the wall, every time you took the elevator instead of the stairs, every time you sat down instead of squatting, every time you avoided the uneven path, you were, in small ways, every single day, telling your body's balance system that it wasn't needed. And your body listened. Your body always listens. The good news, and there is good news, is that it listens when you start asking again, too. It's not too late. Not at 70. Not at 80. I've seen 5-year-olds rebuild what they lost. It takes longer than it would have at 50, but it's there. You just have to start treating your body like something that needs to be used, not something that needs to be protected. Now here's the part nobody wants to hear, because it goes beyond the physical. I know people who did everything right, walked every day, kept active, ate well, and they still fell. You want to know why? Because they were terrified of falling. Fear is physical. You know how I know that? Because I've seen it. A man so afraid of falling that his whole gait changed, shuffling instead of stepping, stiff instead of fluid, holding his breath, going downstairs. And that fear, that tightness, that constant bracing it, made him more likely to fall, not less. He was so focused on not falling that he forgot how to walk. The same thing happens in life, by the way. You get so afraid of failing, of losing, of looking foolish, that you stop moving freely. You stop taking steps with confidence. And that's when you stumble. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm saying be present. Walk like you mean it. Trust your feet. When you go downstairs. Don't negotiate with them. My friend Loretta had a fall at 76. Broke her wrist catching herself. They put her in a boot, gave her a walker, told her to take it easy. And Loretta took it easy. Lord, did she take it easy. And 18 months later, she had another fall, worse this time, hip this time. I went to see her in the rehab center. She looked at me from that narrow bed and said, "They told me to be careful, Mabel." I was careful. And I said, "Loretta, they told you to be careful. They didn't tell you to get strong." Those are not the same thing. Being careful keeps you from falling today. Getting strong keeps you from falling for the rest of your life. And I know which one I choose. You know what the real secret is? The real secret they're not putting in the pamphlets with the cartoon grab bars? You have to decide you're not done. That's it. That's the whole thing. I see people who decide at 65 that they're in the last chapter. They start moving like they're in the last chapter, slowly, carefully, as if the world is made of glass and they might break it. And then they do break. Not because they were fragile, but because they believed they were fragile. And I see people at 85 who haven't decided that yet, who still lean down to pull weeds, who still carry their own bags, who still walk like they have somewhere to be, and they don't fall. They keep going. I have a great-granddaughter who called me last Tuesday. She calls every Tuesday. That girl never misses, and she asked me, "Grammy Mabel, what's your secret?" I said, "Baby, I just never stopped." That's it. That's all I've got. I just never stop. I'm 103 years old. I have watched so many people hand their independence over before they had to. And I'm telling you, it is the saddest thing I have ever seen. Sadder than poverty. Sadder than heartbreak. Because at least heartbreak means you were living, giving up your body, giving up your movement, sitting in that chair and watching yourself disappear. That's a slow erasure. And the world calls it aging. And I call it a choice. Some of it isn't a choice. I know that. I'm not talking about the people who have real injury, real illness, real limitations. God bless them. That's different. I'm talking about the ones who have everything they need and give it up anyway because they think rest is the reward, because they think being careful means being still. You are not a China doll. You are not a museum piece. You are a body that was built to move for your entire life, not just the first half of it. Get up off the floor. Carry your own groceries. Walk on the grass instead of the path. Trust your feet. And for goodness sake, stop shuffling. Pick your feet up when you walk. That right there, dragging your feet, that's how half these falls start. Lift your feet. Walk like you mean it. I'm Mabel Rose Thompson. I'm 103 years old. I walked to my mailbox this morning. I got down on the floor and I got back up. I carried my own breakfast to the table. And I am not done. You're not done either, not unless you decide you are. Now go take a walk, on the grass, without holding anything. Subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like and share.